This is Dundurn, Gaelic for Dún a fort, Durn a fist, an ancient Iron Age fort, which is on a strategic position between Pict Strathearn and the Celtic kingdom of Dalriata. It was the capital of the Pict kingdom of Fortran and was under siege about AD 650. The usurper Gaelic MacDougall, nicknamed MacRath, son of Fortune, was the king of Pict Alba, Scotland, and was killed here by Donald, the son of King Constantine I. Gaelic is said to have conquered all of Ireland and much of England, but this was apparently a myth. Saint Fillan the Leper was an Irish Pict, the son of a king, who preached on his chair or pulpit on the summit, on the ley line which passes through it, but I will come to that later. On a terrace below the summit were timber buildings. The fort had been destroyed by fire and the rubble dragged down the hill.
He marches up and down, away his musket out his shoulder.
Almost at the top, where I am now, is where an archaeological dig by the University of Glasgow discovered that there was a structure 20 metres by 15 metres internally, defended by a nailed timber-laced wall, with a radiocarbon date after 650 AD. Iron nails are very unusual in this type of construction. There is only one other in Scotland. Saint Fillan's chair or pulpit, where he used to pray. There are two very worn depressions on the stone, similar to cup marks, where he would kneel and pray up the glen to Lochern Head. There is a ley line running through this chair, but an unusual one, from a cup-marked prostate stone at Fulfordin near the small glen. Unlike the more common straight lays, this one is roughly circular. The lip on this boulder looks as if it has been carved out of the solid rock to resemble a pulpit. "60 years ago, on leave from the Royal Air Force, I camped on the summit over a weekend, the only company being the wild goats which frequent this hill and dim memories of the slaying of Gaelic and his warriors. Our ancestors were remarkable craftsmen and women. This is a small glass box, 1 1/2 centimeters across, possibly from a chalice, crucifix, or container in which holy objects were kept. And a leather shoe, nicely decorated. Saint Fillan's the Leper, sometimes called the Stammerer, died AD 520 and was buried in this ancient chapel. I will have another YouTube on this interesting place with its curious old stone shortly.
And I've seen the nephews silvery tides, places ill ye ken, far up unto the snowy north lies Arket's fairy glen.
Heading back down, passing the boulders, which had at one time been the walls of the fort.
Upon is in bracks a hag. There think I war I'm coming free, or war I'm going to gang. I think I'll try and I'll making up my mind.
And walking back to St. Fillan's. Earlier, I mentioned that a cup mark lay, different from straight lays, streams of energy from standing stones and circles which have puzzled scientists for decades, is attracted to this rocky summit, passing through the saint's chair and his healing well beneath. The only way to find the energy in a ley line is to tune in with a simple divining rod, as in this illustration. The same way our ancestors used to find and manipulate these natural energies. There is a YouTube presentation at the end showing how to do this. This Cupmar boulder at Fulfordin in the Small Glen, for instance, carefully placed over the Highland boundary fault, picks up natural telluric energy and spirals it up to the Drew's Cave, and then across much of Perthshire, using stone circles in a series of circuits, each one mirrored as a cup-marked depression on the surface of the boulder. There are two unusual elements in this part of the circuit leading down to Dundurn: the rocking stone of Glentarkin, the Glen of the Wild Boar, and the serpent or dragon of St. Fillan. The serpent, along with the Druid's Cave and the rocking stone of Glentarkin, have long been believed to be natural glacial erratics, but can now be seen as carved by man, part of the ley line system. The serpent itself has probably been carved from the nearby rock face and painted as a totem for the important area of Dundurn. The energy is also attracted to resonant cavities, like the Drew's Cave, which had been built with interstices at the rear to allow the cup mark energy to pass to its next target, the centre of Loch Tay. One of the strange qualities of this type of energy is that it has a sympathetic attraction to other similar constructs. Build the Drew's Cave on this type of energy and it will automatically be attracted to other caves. It is still working even after thousands of years. If you place a coil of wire, for instance, on the outside working edge, the energy will tune into other coils of wire on that circuit. One such cave is to the west of the lower circuit at Loch Turret. A narrow entrance here leads to a fissure in a very friable rock face. Curiously, there is a much larger fissure at just the right place to the south of Loch Tay, which the energy tunes into. This is Finn MacCumill's sword cut, named after the legendary Irish and Scottish warrior. Snow still lies here on the 4th of July. Another curious rock formation at just the right place is the Praying Hands of Mary in Glenlyon. Another straight lay passes through the cleft in the rock to the two four-stone circles at Fortingall and on to the much larger stone circle at Croftmorrig. Another quality of cup-marked lays is that it is attracted to bodies of water, like lochs and smaller lochans, even down to small puddles. The initial cup-marked lay tunes into the centre of a loch, for instance, while an outer shell now sees the other half as a whole body of water and tunes halfway into that, while yet another shell contours the entire loch. Only a few shells of energy are shown here, plus another odd quality of this type of lay. It prefers to contour hills like Ben Lawr, for example. The better known straight lays with waves about 2 metres long traverse straight over hills, while cup-marked lays, wavelength about 6 metres, prefers to contour them, unless attracted up and over by lochs. Finally, the purpose of this esoteric and mammoth construction, which is so alien to our modern ideas. These are pre-Reformation burial grounds placed on the working edge of the various circuits. Strangely, using sympathetic resonance already referred to, a cup-marked lay will deviate off course to encompass even a modern burial ground. The builders of this particular type of cup-marked lay system obviously believed that they could access the spirits of their ancestors in these energized burial grounds, perhaps, as in the Chinese and other cultures, to help the health and welfare of their families. Other types of ley lines have a variety of strange uses. This is the Cochno stone near Glasgow. Unless scientists come to terms with the reality of lays as an ancient science practiced by our Stone Age ancestors and are prepared to learn to use divining rods and walk thousands of miles following these lays, they will never be able to understand them or the strange beliefs of our brilliant forefathers. Two of my books. Firstly, Ley Lines of the UK and the USA, showing how this esoteric knowledge has been used in the past and spread to the USA, and is still known about by some secret societies. And Ley Lines and Earth Energies, over 3,000 miles of following the lays on foot. Our ancestor belief of and use of the spirits of their ancestors, which must have an impact on our future culture. Some YouTube films.
Bij graden green